Ian says, has anybody ever got good results for a psychiatrist besides SEO, which all takes some time? I've got a client that has a new psychiatrist join their practice. They want to get patients quickly. Facebook ads, Google ads. All right. Dahlia asks, anyone doing this agency thing on your nights and weekends and on top of a good day job? Any advice on what to focus on and what makes your life easier? So I had a post that was like, your service and your deliverables are not your offer. Welcome back, everybody. Another Agency Owners Weekly Q&A where you guys are asking the smart questions and I am the degenerate doing his best to answer them. I assure you guys I do not have all the answers, but you know, in 20 years of doing this agency thing, you learn a few tricks or two along the way. So I hope to be helpful for you guys. For those of you guys who are new around here, my name is Frankie Fihn, or as they like to call me, His Holiness Big Daddy Canuck, the greatest of all time, the sexy dad himself, Mr. More Beach, Less Laptop, and I've been watching too much old school wrestling the last couple of nights. Although I think we're going to up the shenanigans more as we do this. Quick little announcement just before we get into your guys' questions. For those of you guys who are looking to grow and scale an agency, you should probably check out the Wolfpack, which is our private mastermind for agency owners. And it is the More Beach phoneless style. There are a lot of really cool things that can be learned in this agency space, but there are not a lot of places you can learn to sell your stuff without phone calls, build add-on solutions, partnerships, things like that, and run your entire business without meetings and phone calls, which is not typically how agencies run, by the way. People build very elaborate teams to keep these things afloat. So if you guys are interested in that, you can go to beyondagencyprofits.com. There is a link there that says Wolfpack. Check her out, watch the videos. It has all the details, including if you're just curious about how much it is, you can scroll your ass towards the end of the video and check out all the pricing details. Anyways, that's enough of that. Let's get into the good stuff, the weekly Q&A. I got to play my obligatory AI jam before we get rocking. As you guys can tell, I can't dance. Weekly Q&A. Yeah, I think artists are in trouble, by the way, because that's entirely AI generated. I have a whole album that we generated just for my family. Each kid has a couple of songs. The wife has a song. I got a couple of songs, and like they're not even real humans. I can write personalized radio quality songs about myself. We've made a few for clients as well. They always tend to land super cool. Anyways, let's get into the good stuff. Your questions, which is why you guys are here. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Frankie Fihn proudly brings to you our weekly Q&A. All right. Let's start with Yuri. He says, is there any difference in content between the book and the courses in the Beyond Agency store? So I'll give you the short answer and the long answer because I want this to be useful for you guys building your own stuff too, not just answering a question about me and my courses and things like that. But I have a very simple philosophy, which is ideas equal free and implementation equals money. And so really the difference is we go deeper on certain things and give you a bunch of tools to make implementing said ideas. So like we just had one last week called the sticky client formula. It's for people who are trying to keep clients. I can teach you everything you know to keep clients and you can go do it all. But then you got to figure out which onboarding should I use, which software and tool do I use, set up, what do I say in a welcome email, what do I say as client communication, things like that. And we just like built all that for you. And so it's like if you don't want to have to figure that out, you just swipe it and use it, right? So that's kind of the big idea behind it. And the other big idea, by the way, I learned this only really in the last 5 years mainly, but anytime you create a solution for a client or somebody, like pretty much always the byproduct is a digital asset. And most people don't really think about the byproducts, but often the byproducts are more valuable than the single time solution you came up with. So for example, like imagine, for example, your service is pay-per-click ads, Google specifically, which for I know a lot of you guys is actually true. Some of you guys obviously don't offer that. But imagine, for example, you created a solution for a plumber to generate them emergency phone calls, right? Emergency plumbing jobs. And you had to figure out which keywords to to target, and you had to come up with the right ads and hooks and landing page and an offer and a call to action and what proof goes on the landing page. And let's say it took you like 3, 4, 5, 6 months to figure that out, but eventually you got it predictable where like they could run an ad and they would get emergency phone calls and the system would work, right? Well, those assets, that exact set of keywords, that exact ad, that exact landing page would probably work almost verbatim for another plumber. And that's why I say that the digital assets, the byproduct, are often more valuable than the thing itself. And so there's a chance for you, and most people don't think of this. Most people are in a middle-class mindset going, how do I go get another client? In other words, how do I get hired again? When in reality, to me, it's more like, okay, I created these tools. How can I get more use out of them? Because the leverage on the tools is almost infinite. And so tools allow you to create income without ongoing effort. They're effort to build the first time, but they're not effort to build and reuse the second and the third and the fourth time and so forth. And so one of the questions I like to ask myself is like, how else could these tools be packaged to help somebody? And the magic for you guys is it will enable you to help more people and do less. So to your original question, the difference between like the courses and the tools is really just depth, or the courses and the book is depth and tools that help support it. I'll give you one more example just so you can wrap your head around this. So I'll give you what I don't do personally, and you guys can do whatever the fuck you want. So I'm not here to like preach at you, do this, don't do that. But I'm just sharing what's worked for us personally. So somebody else gave me a course they had that was on how they're getting clients from Twitter. And I'm not really a big Twitter guy. So like, I don't know. It's just a platform. I could have used the information. And this was from somebody I know who's like actually doing well with it. And they gave it to me because I'm a little micro influencer and I'm mildly internet famous. They gave it to me for free. And I remember I had watched the first 3 videos and it was about 45, 50 minutes into it. And it hadn't said anything yet. It was all about like how to create a Twitter account. I already knew that or could figure that out. It's like how to set up a profile. I got a profile. I figured out how to set up a profile. Then it was explaining a little bit about Twitter, and there wasn't necessarily anything new. And I'm sure they would have gotten to the good stuff. But I'll tell you, for me, as like somebody wanting to use it, I just got really fucking bored of it and just never finished it. And so what I realized is that I think what's more valuable to people is to create tools and then give just enough training and context to use the tools to help people implement things. And so if you do this, what you'll end up is creating digital assets for people where it makes it easier to implement. So all of our stuff is designed to do something with it, not I'm going to learn you, with 47 videos. And, obviously you guys are busy and you got shit going on. And like for that reason, nobody ever finishes the shit anyway. So like to me, if I give you one tool that helps you implement it, and like, for example, we're building a tool right now, an AI automation tool where it'll scrape all the contacts in your niche who are spending money. It'll build a list. It'll scan all their social and about us, and then it'll write personalized messages to them at scale. Like that's one of the things we're building behind the scenes. Would you rather have that tool, or would you rather have me have a 3-hour training teaching you how to one-to-one message people? Most people would just rather fucking have the tool. Like, help me get it done. Don't teach me and learn me about it. So that's kind of the idea, is when I create stuff, it's not for teaching and learning. It's to get more leverage out of tools and to help more people, but also it's leveraged income for me, right? I don't have to do more effort because the tools are already created. And this is an advanced level mindset when you get to the place where when you rent tools, you think more like an investor. You're thinking more like, how do I get more value out of my investment, and less about like, how do I get hired more, which is where most people in our space are at. I'm not judging it. I've definitely been there myself. So like, I'm not giving you guys a hard time about that, but I think there's more money and more leverage in understanding that you own and control digital tools that can be rented for cash. Anyways, if you guys are interested in doing a deep dive on that, I did that right there in that book, Passive Automated Recurring Income. Shout out to Eric Bakey, who helped me draw all the cool, fancy images. And anyways, play with that bad boy. See what you think, because it lays out what are digital assets, how to use them, how to flip them, and things like that. It'll blow your mind when you first read it, first time for sure. All right. Next up, we got Dahlia. Dahlia says, has anybody ever got good results? Oh, sorry, that's Ian. Whoops, forgot to put Ian in there. Ian says, has anybody ever got good results for a psychiatrist besides SEO, which all takes some time? I've got a client that has a new psychiatrist join their practice. They want to get patients quickly, Facebook ads, Google ads. So we've had some people, by the way, have some success with Facebook ads. I'm sure you could do Google ads with it too. Really, I look at anywhere your target audience is and is looking for you is a good place. But I wanted to share a little intel that automatically most internet marketers go to, I'm going to get more clients. And I'll tell you what most psychiatrists that we've experienced, what they don't want are more just any client. What they want are private pay clients. Because if they come in through the system, it is governed by insurance and bureaucracy and things like that. And so they're only able to charge a certain amount of money. And it also has 2-3 times the amount of paperwork because you have to justify why you're charging that big fee and what you did in the session and how you help them. And so all the insurance forms. So why they prefer cash pay patients, because they're often 2 to 3 times as much money. There's almost no paperwork whatsoever because they paid cash. And because they paid cash out of their pocket, they're far more likely to do it, right? Like imagine like a court system or a job just forces you to take psychiatric treatment. You're probably not going to go like, this is a thing that's going to change my life. But if you willingly sign up for a therapist and pay money out of your own pocket, you're probably going to listen and actually follow through and do some of the suggestions and therefore get something out of it. So it's a threefold thing, right? They make more money. It's far less work, especially on the paperwork side for fulfillment. And then they end up with happier fucking patients or clients, whatever you want to call them, who do the shit. So whatever solution you create, just make sure you aim it at private pay people, not like insurance. Are you crazy? And they're making you take these things. By the way, Facebook's doing that thing again. I don't see your messages, but I'm sure you guys are there. I appreciate you guys watching. I'm not intentionally ignoring you. The old Facebook, man. It's very hit and miss, just so you guys know. Sometimes when I go live, I can see all your comments populate live, and other times, like, I see nothing, and it all shows up later. Today being the latter, it all shows up later, and I see nothing. But to your question, Ian, like Facebook ads, Google ads, both of those, I suspect would work in your industry because it's very broad, right? Like, there's a lot of people looking for, therapy and counseling and those kind of psychiatry and those kind of things. So I suspect, really, by the way, anytime you guys are wondering if an ad platform works, even if nobody else before you has done it or you don't know anyone, there's a simple litmus test, which is my target client going to be on that platform? And if the answer is yes, then it can be made to work, just so you know. Doesn't mean you will find it easy. Some platforms are trickier than others. Like for me, I'm just not a good TikTok guy. I don't know how to summarize myself in fucking 10 seconds, which, as you can see, like, that's why we do these hour-long Monday Q&As, because it took 20 years to learn how to get to this point, right? But having said that, if your target client is there, like, you can make ads work to them, period. Is it going to be worth it? Is it going to be, like, volume? Is it going to fit your style? Those are different questions, but if your target client is there, then yes, like, that ad system can be made to work. And what I would also wanted to add, Ian, I would probably have a chat with some of the bigger white label agencies in our agency, Lane from Quantum Agency, David from Agency Elevation, Mark Kelly from Inbound Revenue, Inbound Leads, I forget what they're called. But some of those guys, just to see, like, hey, do you guys already have some swipe files for psychiatry? Chances are, like, at least one of them is going to tell you yes, by the way. We like to think our stuff is new and different, but it's really not. All right. Dahlia asks, anyone doing this agency thing on your nights and weekends and on top of a good day job? Any advice on what to focus on and what makes your life easier? Well, Dahlia, I can tell you what to focus on, but I don't think anything makes your life easier in the short term. I have an analogy I've used for our mastermind folks. And can I just say, as a little aside, I have a tremendous amount of respect for those of you guys who are building this business for real and have a full-time career and are doing this on your spare time, which, like, this, like, growing a business is fucking hard, period. So when you do it on your off hours, like, that tells me, like, how deadly serious. And just to give you guys a little bit of fucking hope in that journey, in the, 6-7 years I've been doing this, I have seen dozens of people who came to me at the start of the journey and were working in a job who would now tell me today, I'm having the best month I've ever had in my entire life. And that continues to be true month after month. Obviously there's some ebb and flow. It's not like a perfect linear straight line. But, like, overall, they're like, man, I would never go back to a job ever in a million years. So that's the light at the end of the tunnel for those of you guys who are in that journey. So The first part, I wanted you mentioned what should I focus on and what would make my life easier. I'll tell you what to focus on, but I want to address the what would make my life easier. And I just want to be real with you that if you got a full-time job and you're building a business on the side, nothing about that fucking scenario is easy. Nothing about that is easy. The opposite, it's hard. And I'll tell you, for me, I dreamed about entrepreneurship for a lot of years, and I think I was probably too scared to do it. But in addition to being too scared in the beginning, it was like you come home and you're fucking exhausted, right? Like you're already exhausted. You start drained from the thing you just did all day long. And so you don't really have an abundance of energy. And I call it the remodeling the kitchen. And what I mean by that is if you remodel your kitchen, there is a period where like they come in with hammers and smash the fucking smithereens out of everything you got. And at some point, the thing is a total fucking mess, and there's no way to not make it a mess. But after a period of time, you look at it and you have a brand new kitchen. You're like, man, I'm so glad we did this. Okay? So there's a reason I tell you this, Dahlia, and that is, ain't no way to get not messy in this, and ain't no way to have this be easy. Now, there are ways to make it easier, but if you got a 40-hour-a-week full-time job, like that's already hard, right? So like anything you do above and beyond that, it's going to be fucking hard. Like I don't want to tell you this, oh, it's so easy. I wish more people would say this, which is true. Is that it's harder. It takes longer than most of the internet gurus make it sound. Mostly the DM bros who are like, oh yeah, I just DM'd somebody and they gave me 10 grand and 5 minutes later. And like, I'm not saying that never happens, but most of that is bullshit. Just so you guys know, that's not like lived real life experience. Most of the people I know who've been successful at this have been consistent with it over time. And that is the most likely scenario, just like anything else in life, by the way. There are shortcuts, but there are no like giant shortcuts. Like I kind of compare it to the newest Mario Kart. You can't like jump half the track, but you can like cut a corner and save, 8 seconds around the turn kind of thing if you know something. So I just wanted to address that easier part first, because I don't think it's that easy. And to leads into my next point, like what to focus on. Because you're almost like at an energy deficit, you have to invest your energy really, really, really carefully. Like really fucking carefully. You can't just be like scattered and doing a bunch of shit that drains you, that doesn't move the needle. So let me tell you a couple of the traps that are some of the things that people do that feel like moving the needle that are not. And then I will contrast that with what actually moves the needle. So here's a thing that feels like moving the needle, but does not. Updating your website. I used to spend fucking 20 hours a week updating my site. Like, we had 3 visitors. 2 were bots from China. 1 was my mom. And I felt like I was getting somewhere because I thought you need to have a website to make sales. And so I'd always be updating my website and trying to get it perfect and trying to tweak this, trying to tweak that. And it felt productive because I was doing shit. But it wasn't shit that moved the needle. And the simple reason is a website is really great once you have inbound traffic to function as a sort of like digital salesperson. But if you don't have inbound traffic, it don't mean shit, right? Like there's nobody in the world who knows about you who would be looking for your website. So it literally means nothing, right? So updating your website. I'll tell you another one that I did a lot that felt productive in the stage is I consumed a lot of videos. I felt like if I was learning stuff and I was getting better at it, and I'm not saying you shouldn't watch videos and consume stuff to get better at it, but it's only in as useful as you apply it. So to me, rather than watch more videos, I would say, how could I like do something with each video that I watch? Meaning if I watch a video and there's a good idea in it, then I'm going to stop consuming videos and go step forward with some kind of action. Okay, so that's another thing that'll keep you trapped in that stage, is feeling like you're doing something because I spent 6 hours today learning. Like, whew, that was a long fucking day, but you actually didn't do anything, right? Not in terms of moving the business forward for the stage you're in. There are a couple other things that are like that feel like you're busy and you're doing stuff and you're updating profiles and you're getting ready to get ready. And I'll tell you, once you understand this, for the getting started stage of an agency, which I consider the 0 to 1 phase to be the absolute hardest of all of it, but there's only one thing that really moves the needle forward. Finding people who buy your shit, getting your ass in front of them, and making offers. Let me say that again. finding people who buy the kind of shit you sell, getting your ass in front of them, and making offers, okay? Now, there are different ways to do that, and the most commonly taught way in our space is the one-to-one messaging. That is our way. It is not the way. So, you message people and you let them know that you exist and could potentially help them with something. Another way is you publish ads and intentionally put it in front of the people who would consume that kind of thing, right? So now we're being more strategic. We're like kind of like they're on their way to the gym and we sell protein shakes. Let's put a billboard in front of the gym before they walk in and let them know, hey, you can buy a protein shake right around the corner here. So that's the second way, is you can put ads intentionally in front of them. Another way is you can go network with those people face to face. So for those of you guys who are in like major US cities, I think that's the lowest of low-hanging fruit. Like, just go to the fucking BNI meetings, go to the business networking meetups, shake some motherfuckers' hands, and go talk about how you can potentially help them. It won't be perfect, it won't be pretty, and you won't build something scalable, but you'll get off the ground and get out of the job. And for most of you guys, if you got a $1,000 to $3,000 a month thing, like, we're talking like, how many people do you need to replace a job income? Like 5 on the fucking highest side? So you can get the first 5 or 10 people like going to networking meetings and meeting up. Another way, which is my personal favorite way, it's a bit advanced, is identify people who have audiences in the space I would like to infiltrate, and I go put my stuff in front of them. And closely related to that, minus the audience part, is you publish content. So you go where those people are. So like, for example, when I was in the attorney space in the very beginning, I went to LinkedIn communities that they were part of. Shocker, I know. That's where they were hanging out, and I published content and put it in front of them and gave each piece of content a chance to bring somebody back. And I did that day after day after day, and eventually, like, people started coming to me. But that is really it that moves the needle, is you find out who's buying it, you go get in front of them, and you make a fucking offer. So people do a lot of things to avoid this, because they feel like I got to have everything else ready before I can initiate a conversation with somebody. I got to have a perfect website and profile, and I got to have brochures and matching business cards. And you don't need any of that shit. Just, one of my friends, Kat Howell, some of you guys will know her. She got to like $4 million a year in her agency before they built the website. So they made $4 million in a year and then said, we should probably make a website, and then did it. Just so you guys know. And all they did in their case is they were really good at running ads and putting those ads in front of people they wanted to buy. So I share that with you guys because that's really it. That's the only thing you got to focus on. And I'll tell you why a lot of people don't do that like as religiously as they should. One, because they don't know that that's what's important, right? This shit doesn't always come with the manual, right? So like a lot of times, a lot of the things you're doing feel like you're moving the needle. The second reason, though, is it's scary. Okay, and it's doubly scary. Success and failure are just as scary as each other, just so you guys know. It's not like one or the other. Failure is scary because it means somebody might reject you. They might tell you to fuck off. They might say, like, you're just a fucking cheapskate, cocksucking advertiser. Things like that, right? Those can happen, by the way. And the other thing is, success now puts you on the hook for promises you've made that now you have to like find out ways to fulfill. And a lot of times in the beginning, you're not real good at fulfilling those promises. So I just got a message from somebody yesterday that told me I feel like a scammer because I go to these BNI meetings, I make all these promises, and then I try and bring in white label partners and freelancers, but it's not really working out. And so like I got to go like then answer to the why didn't we get more leads and why did we spend money and blah, blah, blah. And like, that's just as scary as failing, by the way, is what if I do get a bunch of clients and I can't like actually do it? Or worse, what if it does work and now you're making a bunch of money? Like for me, it was like, what will my mom think of me? My mom hated rich people my whole life. Is my family going to hate me because I'm successful at this and shit like that? So you have to like kind of get your head in order and just do the thing that matters, which is getting in front of people. And by the way, you can spend 5 or 10 minutes getting in front of people. Like I can write a Facebook ad and in 5 minutes, like go spend money and be in front of the people that I'm trying to, recruit as clients and do more damage than somebody who spends 20 hours a week updating their website and, getting brochures and business cards and all those things made. Like 5 minutes of finding out who buys it getting in front of them and making offers will do more to move the needle than any amount of other things. So if you understand that, that's what you got to focus on in the beginning. And it's hard because almost always the first time you do it, you will get crickets and it will not work, right? Because you don't know enough about your target audience. And there's a tendency, by the way, when you put it out there the first time and it doesn't work, man, like it gets real dark in your thoughts. At least it did for me. It's like, maybe you're a loser. Maybe your asshole father-in-law was right. Maybe you should just stay at a job. And that's why people stay safe and don't try it. But I'm here to tell you this shit's awesome, right? I'm not saying it's like perfect, but man, like for the last 20 years, I've lived anywhere I wanted in the world, done whatever the fuck I want all day long. I get to like have cool adventures. I hang with my kids all day. Like find me motherfuckers in the street that get to live like that on a daily basis. And this business model is why. So I'm here to tell you it's hard, especially between the ears, but it's worth it. It's so fucking worth it. Anyways, that's all I got on that rant. But I hope that's helpful. By the way, just mention it again for those of you guys who are with me here live on Facebook. It's doing that thing. I don't see your comments. I know you guys are there. But I don't, if some reason, like it just shows up all zeros. So I don't see you guys commenting. I don't see your messages. I don't see that you're there until after the fact. But if you guys got anything, you can always ask it in the comment and then I'll answer it the following week when it doesn't, do what it's supposed to. Anyways, I hope that's helpful, Dahlia, because you can absolutely make this business work. Oh, next one, by the way, is not even a question. It is me ranting on me. So I had a post that was like, your service and your deliverables are not your offer. And I wanted to kind of expand on this because I see this problem over and over. And by the way, if I click on 20 of your guys' websites, 19 of them are talking about the wrong thing, which is you and your service, and not talking about your specific target client, the problems they face, and what specific offer you're offering to help them, take the next step. So offers, by the way, like often one service can have thousands of offers based around it. And a lot of people think an offer is, they've interpreted that $100 million Hormozi book to mean, tell them about your service and then throw an over-the-top guarantee, I'll pay you $1,000 if it doesn't work kind of thing. And that ain't the only thing to an offer. So the analogy I used in the post I did was, and for those of you guys who saw it, it's like a restaurant, okay? So what is the deliverable of a restaurant? Their service, right? They make fucking food, right? Like if you go to a restaurant on a Friday night and all things go well, you expect to leave fed. That's the bare minimum. I went in, they fed me. Now, that doesn't mean their offer is food, right? Actually, in many ways, restaurants have a lot of little micro offers. Like if you open up the menu, it'll say, a bruschetta, $12, pasta, $14.99, a pizza, $18, a T-bone steak, $29, right? Like those are all the actual offers, by the way. And so if you think about a restaurant, like how many different ways could they spin an offer? Okay. A restaurant could spin an offer by going, hey, we got a live band tonight. Come on in. We could have 2-for-1 appetizers. We could have half-price drinks at happy hour. We could have all-you-can-eat barbecue pork ribs, $19.99 plus a side salad and a biscuit. We could have Chicken Wing Tuesday, 2-for-1 chicken wings on a Tuesday. We could have an eating contest. We could have a catering, learn to cook with the chefs, right? Like, so there's endless amount of offers. And if you think about this, the companies that are the most successful financially, talking strictly fucking dollars and cents, hold that thought 1 second. They make a lot of fucking offers. So I propose to you that there is a shitty hamburger chain called McDonald's, the old Mickey D's. And when you drive by McDonald's and you look up at the fucking sign, do they make an offer on that sign? And my answer is every single fucking time. McRib is back. Get the McDoolio. Shamrock ice cream. 2-for-1 blah, blah, blah. Get 2 McDoohickeys for $2.99. Get a kid's toy. Get a something. Right? McDonald's. Got the same shit since you were fucking 3 years old. And yet there's always new offers continuously. So agencies get very bored and unoriginal with just going, we do SEO. We do pay-per-click. We make websites, right? And if you learn to get creative with this, you can really combine it with your client's problems, the outcomes they're trying to create, and create like actual solutions and not have to make anything new. So like, for example, you create websites. I could have hey, we got a 2K special right now. We're creating a custom website just to help you sell nose job clients. This means it'll have before and after pictures, all your nose jobs. It'll brand you as the nose job special. It'll be optimized to load for those specific keywords, and we'll set up the URL and the domain and all that so that when anybody goes to look for you, they're going to find you as the nose job doctor in all of Texas, right? That's a totally different offer than we'll make a website, custom websites, WordPress, PHP, fast loading, optimizing, right? Let me give you one more example. Same exact deliverable. We could have like maybe there's just a foot in the door offer to somebody running pay-per-click. Let us build you a quick landing page for your nose jobs that will help you convert more of the people into actually sales, and guaranteed this will convert higher than your existing landing page, or we won't charge you even a penny for it. All right? So there's one more example. Here's another example. Last week, I made a nose job website for another surgeon, and because everything about it is done, I want to give you the exact same website customized to you if you want to get nose job patients, and I will do it for you for just $9.99, which is way cheaper than you would ever get a custom website, because in this case, I'm just helping you to personalize one that's already working for another doctor that's already booked him 5 patients. If that's you, sign up here. We can do the same thing with the call, right? Jump on a call and we'll show you how to get nose jobs, or we'll show you how to get patient X, or we'll help you to solve the slow season, right? It sounds like this is the slow season for a lot of doctors. Jump on a call with us. Start with doing a little bit of research on your target client. Find out what problems are they trying to solve, what outcomes they are trying to create, and then create offers based on those things and explore, would they want this outcome more or that outcome more? Would they rather solve this problem or that problem, right? Are they hungry for ribs more or chicken? Do they want steak more or do they want baked potatoes, right? Like you just try those angles and put it out there. And here's the thing, okay? It's not always a linear straight line, like 1-to-1, but over like the big picture, it's 100% fucking correlated, which is you want to make more money, make more offers. I just solved it for you. If you know how to not always make your thing exactly the same way McDonald's has found a million new ways to reinvent burgers and fries and combos and packages and things like that, that in doing so, there's always a new offer on the fucking sign. Always, 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 always. So the more you do this, the more money you will make. And a lot of times this is just taking new things and packaging it in a new way. So for example, when we went from a website to I'll be the nose job person, did we create a new deliverable? I don't think so. Still fucking websites. You're still a web designer, but we created a new offer, didn't we? Right? Like that lands differently. So to me, like, you know, if you've got clients already paying you, start with like reverse engineering what they're paying you for and figure out how you can turn those into packages and offers, and right? Because they have an intention. Nobody comes to you to build a website. Nobody comes to you just because they want SEO for the sake of SEO. Hey, it's been slow season and we're trying to get regular work for our guys. Hey, we created a special package. The January get extra work for your guys during the slow season package. Right? There's an offer. So I wanted to rant on this just because like if I go to 20 websites, most of you guys aren't making an offer at all. It just says, like, it'd be the restaurant equivalent of saying, we make food, here's a contact page. And what it needs to be is like, right now we got a limited time special, get 2 McDoohickeys for $2.99, offer expires on Friday. If you'd like to claim that offer below, click the button to just get started. And like McDonald's, there'll be a fucking new offer the second that one expires, and you're always playing with offers. And of course, the ones that work, you use again in the future, right? Like the McRib seems to come back endlessly. I'm assuming like by doing it that way, like motherfuckers are buying that monstrosity, right? Like somebody must be interested in eating McRibs because they keep fucking using that as a new special. So anyways, as I mentioned though, one more time, just on this rant, Facebook's doing that thing, so I don't see your comments, but I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. I know you're there. So anyways, I just want to say this one more time. Your service and your deliverables are not your offer. So like say you do Google pay-per-click or Facebook ads, could be just the same. Your deliverables are probably I'm going to target some people, I'm going to run some ads, I'm going to put some landing pages, and I'm going to get people to contact, and then you take it from there, right? Like that's what a lot of you guys have as like the basics of your deliverables. That is not an offer. I'm going to target some people and run some ads and click here. Like what are you accomplishing with that process for them? Hey, if you got 2 crews of guys and you need regular deck jobs, we found a little loophole in the system to get deck jobs for $200 a piece. And if you sign up here, here, and here, we'll get you the first deck jobs for only the low, low price of $1,500 on offer, right? Which is not your deliverables. And by the way, very few people in our space understand this. And as a result, they're better at generating traffic than they are at converting it. And conversion is a real fucking art, by the way. Because you know how you get traffic, by the way? In 2025, you know how you get traffic? You go to Google, or you go to Facebook, or you go to some other fucking platform. You take your credit card, you type it in that motherfucker, you give it to him, and you run some fucking ads, and you'll have traffic. So if it were just about traffic, it would be that easy. But it's really about converting it. And I suppose it helps. Well, a lot of times what people think an offer is they conceptualize one of 2 things: over-the-top guarantee or discount. And what it really means is a promise. Like that's probably the most synonymous word I would use. So what are you actually promising? And think about this not as what am I going to do for somebody, but what am I going to get done, right? And I think about this like as a kid, like this was my entrepreneurial brain. So I was like, I don't know, like 10, 12 years old. You want to make some money? There was 2 things we did in Canada. So if it was summer, first thing you do, you go mow some lawns. You knock on doors with the fucking lawnmower. You say, hey, would you like me to mow your lawn for you? Right? And then in the winter, you grab the snow shovel and you do the same thing, but with like, you want me to shovel your driveway for you? Help that we live on the Great Lakes and it fucking snowed a lot, right? There's always like a snowstorm every couple of days at least in the wintertime. And so what you're selling in that scenario is not the shovel, is not your little gloves you got, it's not your jacket, it's not how many hours it's going to take. You're selling, I will empty your driveway for you, or give me $20 and all that long grass will go away and you don't have to do it. Right? So you're selling like the promise. I'm going to give you a finished mowed lawn. I'm going to completely clear all the blockages in your driveway so you can get your car out without having to spend 20, 30 minutes out here doing backbreaking labor, right? So what we don't sell, though, is the lawnmower, the deliverable. We don't go, yeah, it's a 2-stroke, oil and gas mixed Honda 10-year-old makes too much fucking noise lawnmower. Like nobody's interested in that. They're interested in what it does for them. So what can you promise them, right? So like this is why I say like you don't want to promise the deliverables because the deliverables are just activity. Nobody says what I want you to do is just walk back and forth with a lawnmower. They're like, no, I want you to finish cutting the fucking lawn. Go back and forth until all the grass is finished, right? So what can you actually promise that's going to get done in terms of problem solved or outcomes created? And you're going to be in much better shape with that. And most agencies, by the way, miss that. And I missed that for like 10 years and didn't know how to sell SEO. And it made a very resistible offer going, give me a lot of money for a long period of time and no guarantee it'll work. But usually I'm pretty good at it. And I had to make proposals and chase people because I didn't know how to make that offer work. And when you fix the offer, like you don't got to chase motherfuckers. They just go, I'm in. Here's my credit card. What do we do now? All right. Shuvo says, hey, Frankie Fihn, do you have any process to make market research easier? I follow your strategy to search on Quora and Reddit about the hardest part about being in a specific business, but for some niches, it doesn't seem to work so well. So for those of you guys who've never seen the video, Shuvo is referencing. I have a video on YouTube on our Beyond Agency Profits channel. You can search it by going Beyond Agency Profits. And the title of the video is called Unfair Sales Advantage. And what you do in that video, rather than guessing, rather than trying to miraculously figure shit out, is you simply search your target audience for their problems in their own words. And you look for the things that get upvoted the most. So I'll give you a real life example of this. When I was first looking into attorneys, I remember searching like, I went to Google and I typed quora.com. What is the hardest part about being an attorney? And I remember there was an answer by a guy named Cliff, and his answer said, the hardest part by far of being an attorney are the clients themselves. I don't mean the good clients who listen to you as the learned analysis of a professional. I mean the clients who are in this on principle or think they know the law better than you or just want to make someone else hurt. And I remember at the time it had like 70 or 80 upvoted answers. And I knew a lot of attorneys agreed with that sentiment, right? And this is why I say, like, it has your messaging has to be calibrated. So if I go into a market and I say, I can get you more clients and more sales and more leads, which is what everybody else says, and they already don't like 80% of the clients they have now, that's not going to land as hard as you think it's going to land. So if I say, hey, I can help you get the kind of clients who listen to you as the learned analysis or professional, and not the clients who just think they know the law better than you or want to make them hurt. Forget what the third thing was there. But I can get you less of those kind of clients and get you the clients who listen to you as the learned analysis or professional. That's going to land 1,000 times harder than somebody who just says, I'll get you more clients and more sales and more leads and more money. And like what everybody else is doing, the undefined more. Come on down to Frankie Fihn's more pour and we'll get you more of some shit. That's what most people are ultimately promising. And so what you want to do is find this in your audience's own words. And so that video walks you through how to do that. And I'll tell you about 80 to 90% of the time, you can find that on Reddit or Quora. But as Shuvo mentioned, sometimes you can't. Also, that same information, by the way, can be found on this new place that sells books. It's an internet website called Amazon. I learned this from Jay Abraham, by the way. Jay Abraham charges $250,000 to write a sales letter and gets paid royalties off of every sale that's made. And I said, Jay, how do you come up with $250,000 sales letter? And what he said to me is, he said, well, I go find the most popular books on the subject. I look at all the 5-star reviews and 1-star reviews. 1-star reviews are all the things they hated and they're trying to move away from. 5-star things are all the loves and the outcomes, things they're trying to move towards. I put them in a big table and I make that the basis of my sales letter. We'll move you away from this and towards that, move you away from this and towards that. And he says, and they say it passionately and in their own words. And again, Amazon tends to upvote comments people agree with most. So there's an insane amount of market research sitting on Amazon as well. And also, for those of you guys who are interested in like our Fast Start program or our Wolfpack Mastermind, we have our own internal tools. I trained AI to do this. So I have a tool I called my market research bot. It will go ahead and firstly, it'll output the problems they experience in their own words as they show up day to day. Then it will tell you what they're trying to do now to solve those problems. And then it'll give you a detailed step-by-step of all the things that they don't like about what they're doing now. Then it tells you what they most want to move towards, like the things that they're most trying to sell and wish these are the things they wish they could get more of. And it also tells you who they fear in terms of competition, broken down by local, nationwide, or international, and online. So it breaks them down depending on the type of business, whether those are local competitors that scare them, big national chains, or online. It breaks it down. It also tells you the questions that they ask themselves that they won't tell you out loud. And it also tells you why they would hesitate in hiring you and what they're secretly afraid of happening in that process. So you can address those fears, concerns, and worries. And we can do all of that in about 5 seconds, just so you know. Like all you got to do is click the button, go dentist, and it'll go, it'll give you a big download on whatever your market is trying to do. So that's where we're at with it now. It's for those of you guys who have kind of more access levels. We can give you their problems and their challenges and things like that. But this can all still be done manually, just so you know. So if you can't find it on those 2 websites, that's my way of saying the third place I would go to is the old Amazon.com. There's always books written on every topic. And if you take the time to read the comments and see what did people like and not like about those books, it'll tell you, like, in essence, what their problems are and what they're trying to do. So anyways, that looks like all the questions we got, at least that I can see. As I mentioned, I don't see your Facebook comments until after the fact. I'm sure there's a couple of things, at least you guys saying what up that I'm going to respond to. But that's all I got for you guys this Monday. For those of you guys who missed the intro, If you're looking to scale your agency and get rid of all the meetings and phone calls and really get away from what I call a chaos agency, nobody really talks about this, but like I get a chance to consult with a lot of agencies, and I can think of 2 agencies that I do consulting with where they're around the same income scoreboard. So they're both around like 175,000 to 200K a month. So, about 2.5 million a year, 2 to 2.5 million a year in revenue. And let's call them A and B. Agency A is a total chaos agency. So the owner says to me, oh my God, I'm freaking out in this, and I got to get this employee, and I got 87 phone calls, and I got a meeting, and I got to go here after there, and blah, blah, blah. And it's just like constantly putting out fires and total madness. And I've ran that kind of agency. And then the second agency is so well run that the owner's almost bored and says to me, like, am I doing this right? Like, everybody tells me this is so hard and there's so little going on. And are you sure this is how it's supposed to be? And I'll tell you, even though on the money scoreboard, those agencies register exactly the same. Like if I'm in a agency owners community and I show up my 2 Comma Club award winner, it's the same 2 Comma Club award winner for both of them with a different name. But if you're on the inside internally running that business, agency A will make you want to fucking quit, throw in the towel, give up, and question your sanity every day. And you'll wish you wish you could get fired from your own business. Like it really is like that. And agency B, you'll almost be so bored that you're like, wonder what I do now, right? And what we help people to do is the latter. If you want to be bored and have a boring old factory money machine, I can teach you guys how to do that. I can help you guys build that, and we have tons of tools and resources. If you want this shit to be exciting, like you can certainly have it exciting. I would not recommend it, but you guys can definitely have that. If you want a bunch of drama and daily fires, I believe a lot of what's taught in our agency space will create that. So that means even when it's fucking working, which by the way, I've been in, where meaning the money is working, the cash on the scoreboard says you're winning the game, the points on the scoreboard, and yet you are trapped in it, miserable, wish you could quit, putting out fires all day long, constantly fucking stressed, and more work and more shit to do, and trying to find freelancers and last minute cancellations and a million fucking phone calls requests and never a moment's peace, and checking your email 50, 100 times a day, and Slack messages and text messages blowing up. And you can have that if you want. But if that sounds terrible to you, as it does to me, especially now, and you wish for something more chilled out, which is just a boring, predictable fucking revenue machine. And by the way, usually you got to rearrange the kitchen a little bit before you get to that boring, predictable revenue machine. But we got a lot of tools that can get you really up to speed on it really, really fast. So if you guys are interested in that, check that out. Go to beyondagencyprofits.com. Click on the link that says Wolfpack. We got a video there. You can watch the full video if you want to see a little more about how we work and examples of what we've been able to do for other people. Or if you want, you can just scroll to the end, check out the money amount if that's what you're interested in, see how much it costs, see how we have different ways. And I've tried to make it more and more affordable because we're creating more and more tools that's made it so we can expand capacity to help people do this. And if that's you guys, check that baby out. And I'll see you guys on the other side. That's all I got for you guys in this one. Happy Monday. Mucho appreciation, and may the force be with you. And His Holiness Big Daddy Canuck with the dad guns, the greatest of all time, Mr. Morebeach, Les Laptop himself, is signing off.
Buy my book, or I will sign you up for interpretive dance lessons composed by an angry mind.